Yo, 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 what's poppin'? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. We hot. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm sitting pretty, having completed another interview for the other channel with Haka. Check it out if you're interested in analytical CSGO content. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with that. Getting a little looser, getting a little better at flowing from topic to topic. Still working on some transitions. Still got to clean some shit up, tighten some shit up. But it was a nice way to get back into it a couple days before another interview that's coming up. So, what's up, Veek? Welcome. And of course, shout out to Veek for doing the artwork for that sort of thing, and giving me some ideas. I think I'll be sticking with the fully opaque, really dark gray color for the camera frames. After all, it just makes more sense. So. All right, we are looking at. Well, we're looking at a situation where we have to somehow, some way, shape, or form. Sorry, I'm just lowering the music volume because I had it up a little too high. But yeah, we're getting into a situation where we're out of stuff that's like low hanging fruit for me to be able to do. I talked about this a little bit at the end of last stream, I think, or maybe I think it was just this might not have been something that I talked about. I don't remember, but either way, it's a new stream. We can talk about it again anyway. I've kind of tackled all of the unit concepts and the behaviors and the changes that I know how to change. Like it was big to be able to fix up the bunker issues and stuff, so that now I can load my units in my ally's bunker. I can't unload them. He's got to do that presumably. In fact, I don't actually know if that's possible to test. If I can even unload my allies' stuff, I don't know what that looks like on the user interface side of things. Actually, I should check that out. I should like run an AI script for an ally to do that, because that would be pretty funny. HYDRA test jungle, unit, Terran, buildings, bunker. So we have location over here. What player is this? Okay. So I think player 3 is the ally. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Oops. All right, let's give it a shot. I should be able to do it in... Oh, I guess the AI won't do it. Let me just make sure that you can still do it. Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, if you want to pull the latest dev build, I'll turn on the LAN thing. You. All right, let's check this out. First Allied bunker test. Check it out, man. I don't even know if we have bunkers, but we have SCVs. All right, time to build a bunker, dude. I'm going to build a bunker, and you're going to get in it. You can build a bunker, too, if you like. Ah, what a noob. He doesn't even have a barracks. All right, stick a zealot in there or something. All right, so I can't unload it by clicking on the unit, but I can... Wait. Oh, we have a desync. See ya, nerd. Oh, I think that was my Radman, though. I don't think that was anything to do with the bunker. Because now it says connecting again on Radman, see? Radman's been acting up. I mean, I haven't used it a lot lately, but it always takes a really long time to actually connect for some reason. I'm not really sure why. There we go. It's back. I'll go ahead and rehost this. If you want to pop back in. Or it's getting there, anyway. It's spinning. Spinning. All right, it should be good now. Imagine it's not that the game desyncs, but it's that the game sends a signal that Radman refuses to process. Could you imagine? So I couldn't unload your unit with left clicking on the command card, but when I hit unload all, I think your Legionnaire popped out. So I think it's working. I would really hope that you could actually get units out of the transport anyway. All right, get in there. Get in there, homie. All right, now don't... Wait, I want to see something. Oh, I can force load your units in. I can actually issue a load order. Like, I just did that to the Basilisk. Although the Basilisk that apparently vanished. I don't know where the Basilisk went. It's just gone. Wait, if we kill the bunker, will it be there? It's just gone. The fucking unit disappeared, dude. Oh, and then you died. What did you get dropped from? The Basilisk vanished. That wasn't my Radman that time. I don't know if that was yours. But that was also like... Wait, let me see. No, it says you're still on, according to my Radman. What's up, Renato? Yeah, so that's probably like a common issue then. Let me check the callus in units dat here. I'm gonna see if there's like an issue with... Actually, before I even remake that, I should go back. And I'll pre-place a bunker for all players here. Okay. Should just do this as well. Okay. But yeah, I want to jump into unit stat and check the callus entry real quick. Because, I mean, it just requires 2 space. Like, you can transport it. What's curious is that if I were to, like... If you want to come back in real quick, we can do some more testing. But if I were to load my own Basilisk, I'm pretty sure I could unload it. Like, I could see it when I was doing the test map myself. So... I don't see why there would be like an issue of that nature. Yeah, if they're ranged units, they can attack. So, like the Basilisk would be able to. Like, I'll load my Basilisk into my own one, and we'll see what happens here. Yeah, it shows up fine. But for some reason, it disappears when it's loaded into a different unit. Like, you can unload yours, right? Oh, really? Can you see mine? What? Bing, bing, bing. Why was your Basilisk different than my Basilisk? Dude, that's insane. Here, make some more Basilisks. Hold on, I'll make some more. Maybe it's like a player table thing? That's the only thing I can think of. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if it's because we don't have shared vision. That wouldn't make any sense. So I don't know. But anyway, to show off what's been made possible over here, I'll go ahead and load these guys in. See ya, nerd. You like that? Yeah, your hydrogen. Now that's epic. So try loading a Basilisk into mine, I guess. Yeah, I can see it just fine. What the fuck? Why would it be like the first one, though? And you can unload mine? Yeah. That's so weird. That's like a really weird specific issue. Although, of course, I didn't pre-place an Ultralisk, but I can build one. Those are pretty funny to put into bunkers. Now, you said something shouldn't be possible. I think you were talking about me being able to order your own units in or something. Command center farm over there. Unfortunately, I don't think that's something that I can I don't think I can change that. Unfortunately, it's only something that would happen with units like it's only something that would happen in the case of a transport or a grounded transport. Like if I make a shuttle real quick, it wouldn't happen. Obviously, Ultralisks can attack inside the bunkers, but it would be really like it would be an epic meme if you saw like an AI that it was just out of these bunkers out of nowhere, and then you blow them up and an Ultralisk pops out and just attacks you. Of course, you could also put lurkers in there, but they can't attack, unfortunately. I mean, I would assume they wouldn't be able to. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, I think if I order a load command to your unit, nothing happens. Oh, I actually can't order a load command. Like it won't work for me. But if you right click on my transport, you should be able to get in. You. Is it not working? You can make a transport of your own and I can test it on you. But I'm pretty sure if you... Yeah, there you go. And then you just can't unload them yourself, unfortunately. Like the UI related issues are not something we're going to be able to resolve. And I can only unload with unload all, unfortunately, is another thing. Well, they don't do damage to allied units, so that doesn't really make sense. Oh. Do we know what happened? I don't think so. Hmm. Oops, destroyed myself with a typo. Oops. It's supposed to be 6-7. Yeah, I would have been fucking amazed if that was possible. I wonder why there would be desyncs associated with this kind of code. Well, I guess I can't really test without actually putting in the opportunity here, but I'm pretty sure at best it does nothing, and at worst it crashes. So I'm not sure, but we're gonna give it a shot, man. Go ahead and turn off Radman for now. I think it takes 8 years, of course. I clicked on Firegraph, but I guess it didn't go through or something. There is another thing that might help with this. I think it's stat panel display. There's like a clue about lurkers in here. Let's look for some stuff here. Because this is just for displaying stuff, so that doesn't actually change anything about the game. What a weird conditional. Well, if I can find what allows lurkers to attack, I can say, like, I can basically just turn that conditional from is borrowed to is borrowed or is in a transport, you know? Also, do you know what happened with the desync, by the way? Like, do we know anything about that? This is something to do with ground weapon, stay in range. Lots of lurker hardcode and all these functions. It might be within target related, excuse me. Oh wait, what did I just see? Lurker can only attack while borrowed, even if given a melee attack, according to this code. But this is... Oh, okay, so this allows you to attack... I forget if there is a in building. There you go. That might be all we need. That's what I was looking for. But I don't know why it would be in weapon spell hit of all things. I feel like that's probably not the condition I need to change. Or there's more than one or something. It also might be like a player-owned thing. Like... Yeah, I'm not sure. And of course, if I start searching this shit... It's gonna send me backwards. Can I change the fucking direction or something? I don't know why I would have to do that in the first place. Why do I have to do it every single time? I have to use this as my fucking code now, apparently. Whatever. So dumb. It's just going the wrong way anyway. Epic. Well, no, in building, I would imagine would be specifically related to that, yeah. All right, so it looks like we're not getting anywhere with this search anyway, so I'm going to jump back into target related and see if I can find something. I don't even know if these are actually enabled, so this might not matter. Is target related what has the hooks for, like... I'll know if it's enabled just by knowing if we are using this for, like, height advantage or something. Ah, none of these are enabled anyway. So... It's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, where were we in there? We were in weapon spell hit. I would honestly assume that there would be something here. This has reverse land grab, which is some amalgam of reverse thrust and land grab. I assume this is reverse thrust, but I don't know. Could be land grab. I don't remember what cast spell was. I think this might actually be land grab. I know this is like technically fine, but I really dislike the lack of braces for one lines because like if you ever need to add something, it just adds a lot of annoyance. So I don't think this is, obviously this didn't work. I'll try within transport as well, see if that fixes it. But that's pretty much the last like Hail Mary thing I can think of. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just, it would be nice to have that sort of approach. The only question, though, I guess there is one other thing that could be big. So hold on. Let me go back into the load unload orders code because the hook that I made was like if we stop it from failing to work on borrowed units, I don't know what kind of issues might come up. Like, doesn't look like anything. Yeah. It doesn't look like you can actually accomplish anything. Oh! Wait, it did work. PogChamp! I mean, it's not seismic spining. And it's pretty bugged when it's borrowed, but like when it unloads. Holy moly, that actually worked. Dude, I never would have thought about that one. Yeah, the fact that the missile returns afterwards, we're going to have to fix that bug for sure. And they have to like reset to be unborrowed, I guess. I mean, but the other problem though is that like the fact that you have to, you know what I mean? Like the fact that you have to load them in that way is pretty bad, I feel like. Hopefully that, like, because obviously it doesn't work here, but if I load... Oh. I had to get closer, I think. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So I think if we fix the fact that it doesn't travel back, it's okay, but it's still a stupid, like... For example, the AI would never be able to incorporate some system like that where they, like, put the lurkers in there. Okay, so you said try that code. And this is in... weapon spell hit at 385. Well, it's your 385 is presumably different than my 385 now. So you wanted me to replace this, it looks like. Yeah, it might have been that like I nested it incorrectly or something. It doesn't seem to have fixed anything. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you there. And this is still not fixed. I thought iCore fixed the AI related stuff with like regular units doing it, but what the fuck is that? Come on now. No, the lurker's burrow is the same as everything else. It's just that it's always researched for the lurker. That's the only like specialty case. Obviously, it's always researched in HYDRA for everything, but like the DAT requirements are like current unit is lurker or must be researched, and then current unit is everything else. I think anyway. If I had to go to use tech, I may have actually changed. Yeah, well, you notice how lurker is up top. I think I just removed the must be researched part, but like if we make a new exe and then I go to DAT requirements, use tech. Oh, I get maybe lurkers are just hard coded to do it then, because they are still at top. But yeah, that's weird. That's a little weird. But they're probably just hard coded to always have it available. Close out of here. The hell out of here. Well, ultimately, I don't know what was causing that weird basilisk issue, and I don't know what the fuck was causing anything else that we had to deal with, but you know how it is. All right. Continuing right along. Time to find another mix to listen to. Okay, so let's continue jumping around here. I guess I'll push those latest changes. Still weird that we had that weird desync. I don't know what's up with that. I'll ask Icor if he's got any ideas for what that might happen or why that might happen. So like some of these changes that we've got to implement on a more like code base oriented level, in theory, it shouldn't be that difficult. Like, maybe in game hooks or something, I could keep track of stuff like this. Like if I jump to C unit layout and I scroll up and I find some timer that I can use here. So we've got like irradiate timer. It's 46. Let me just make sure we don't have any irradiate anywhere else. Doesn't look like it. Oh, there is like an actual irradiate timer in the unit list. So maybe we don't need the... I'm not sure how to like time that though. So I think it's probably safer to just use our own. Then if I jump into like maybe weapon spell hit has irradiate stuff. Radiate. This is for restore. Radiate hit. It doesn't look like there's any like irradiate tick or anything. Okay, so maybe we can do it this way. I just thought of something. So in weapon spell hit, we can apply the irradiate timer to be well, first of all, I can rename it to like Radiation Shockwave timer. Radiation Shockwave timer. And then we can say again, weapon spell hit, right? I got to keep unit destructor special in mind here. So we've got a radiate hit. And if we're doing target irradiate timer or whatever, we also can do like SEBWs. Get send GPTPA's command. And we can open up game hooks here and find some examples of this command being used because it's got a lot of shit in it. Target, and then this is going to be Radiation Shockwave timer. This will be 5 times 24 plus 1. Okay, and now in game hooks, we can do get generic value in here somewhere. Let me scroll down until I can find some shit in here. Radiation Shockwave, 5-second timer. If A's ID, sorry, value ID, radiation shockwave timer. Okay. In theory, that should work because we've applied the timer, set it to a value of 5 seconds, and then so like I guess we should also wave timer should also like mute, completely remove it entirely. And then I guess we'll add like a print text. Second timer. So we're going to try that. And if that works out the way that I think it will, in theory, that should actually be a way to implement it. I think it's an okay way to change how this ability works because now all of a sudden you have got double EMP potential if the unit doesn't die before 5 seconds. So you've created a kind of a timer in that sense. Okay, so it did not appear to work. Although, maybe I didn't. I might have to rebuild after modifying this stuff. I'm not sure. Because it might have also run, but maybe my syntax for that parameter is incorrect. So like maybe if we see the code running. Yeah, we're not getting the debug message, so I'm going to say it's not working at all yet. Which means we need to jump into weapon spell hit. And run a print text. Oh, set generic timer is what we were supposed to have here. So that's probably at least a contributing factor to the bug. All right, so it's running, but it's not creating the thing. Maybe because unit destructor special is only checking to see if the unit is actually dying. So this should probably be like... Okay. So we'll actually move this implementation into game hooks. Although it could also be in like weapon fire or something. And then I just need to copy the create thingy. Funk. This might end really poorly, but whatever. Yeah, this is a little bit more annoying than I thought it would be to reverse engineer. I don't know why weapon spell hit header is included in this. Might have something to do with it, I don't know. Okay. So maybe I can put this in weapon spell hit then. These old files are such messes compared to what we actually maintain on a usual level. Oh. So why were we having issues with them? So if these are set up in the same way, then why were we having problems exactly? Because I don't see a create thingy func here. Oh, I see. They're called something different. That's really epic. Okay. So create thingy func should just be called create thingy apparently. And then presumably that's the same. Okay, well, now that we've done that, maybe we'll be somewhere here. Let me just double check my code. We're dealing with if target irradiate timer greater than 0, which is the only condition. And then after that, it checks the radiation shockwave status, and then it will create it. So in theory, that should be all we need for this to make sense. Send command. 5-second timer. Okay, well, the good news is it doesn't work any differently than what it did before. But the bad news is that for whatever reason, we're not... It's not working in the same way. I guess I could make it print out the... So now I just need to debug the timer itself to make sure that my custom timer is actually being assigned. Okay. Seems to be working. So now we go into weapon spell hit. And we say... Maybe this code also isn't running. Like, that's one of the reasons why I wanted it to be in game hooks, is because it might not actually run anywhere else. Like, I don't even know where else I would be checking this. Maybe update unit state, but then it's like very obviously not related to weapons or whatever, so it feels kind of stupid. I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot in update unit state, I guess, since that's running all the time. Now we've got to change everything back to unit SMH. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not redefining anything here. Looks like I'm in the clear as far as that goes. All right, let's see what we got. Maybe this will run properly, because this is something that happens every frame. Oh, happens instantly. That's not really what I want. Wait, hold on. Actually, this might be related to the actual irradiate hit, now that I think about it. Okay, so it looks like the game hooks code is unnecessary. And what I can actually rely on is... so I'll get rid of that for like the actual code that adds the stat or whatever. But in update unit state, I'm going to check... value ID, radiation shockwave timer. But the only problem here is that I'm not really sure how to... So maybe I need another A's ID, actually. Maybe what I can do is I can... Fuck, dude, I have no idea how to do that. All right, actually, I do know how to do that, now that I think about it. This is such a stupid thing to get hung up on, too. But I think if I do it the way that I'm thinking about, the only worry that I would have is that maybe it would run, this code would run like too late or something, and it would be caught by a null check and disabled. Okay, so what if we go into C unit layout again? And we do... So now we're setting the count to 1 when 5 seconds has passed. And then in unit destructor special, where the code was previously, where it's basically it's that. Like now we're setting it there, right? And then in weapon spell hit, or no, in update unit state. I don't think we need to worry about that at all, actually. So I think this will work. Now we're using the timer to increment the count variable or the count part of the flag or whatever once, the value. So the count's going up when 5 seconds passes, and the count's also going up when the unit dies. So at least there will be one. There shouldn't be any edge cases here. But again, the current, like the only issue that I could think of is that the unit will die and then this code won't take off, like it won't kick off and run fast enough, but I'm not sure. We're about to find out though. Let's get in there, see what happens. I keep trying instinctively going to spawn something, but I don't need to do that. All right, let's see what happens. Boom. And at the end, ooh, destroyed. Okay, that's good. Because I actually just realized that the effect probably... Yeah, okay. So now if we irradiate this guy, right? If he can die. Oh, okay, so it's not working out when the unit dies. That's so basically what I was worried about. Is that if the unit dies before the effect ends. I almost wonder if that's okay, though. Like, obviously, I would like that bug to be fixed in a perfect world, so you guarantee EMP when the unit dies. But what if the unit, like, you almost need the unit to live like 4 seconds, so that, like, because I think the effect is 8 seconds. So I'm not sure. Let me go into weapon spell hit. Actually, I'm not sure. This irradiate timer must be in some weird units because 24 frames is nothing. That's 1 second, so that's obviously not the case. So maybe I can go into unit destructor special, right? I can copy this line here, and then I can go into weapon damage and find the code that runs when the unit dies. Maybe we can do it there. Alternatively, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else to do. I guess I could make an API CPP function that is the irradiate function and then call that in multiple places rather than stuffing the function in some... Like, it's obviously not a very clean way to do it, right? So... But again, I don't even know if this matters. Like, Does assigning a value ID to the unit, the victim or whatever, does that even matter if the unit is dying? Like I don't know if it stays, if the unit struct continues, like persists long enough. Okay, it seems to work now. Now the only question is, I'm not sure if it actually is working, like the EMP. I know the graphic is happening. Okay, so that... It seems to be working on the specific unit. I don't know, hold on. Because maybe the box is too small or something. Or maybe it's because it's my units and there's some weird like friendly fire bug. So hold on. Because I did see some code in there that was like unit is not affected by EMP or something. So if I spawn like high, spawn these guys a good distance away. It does seem to be working on all accounts. Now the only thing that I need to test is like taking a Marine, right? And then irradiating him and running him in over here. Okay, so on death it also is triggering. Okay. I think we've done it. It was a really dumb implementation, I think, but I actually did implement it, which is got to count for something. Now, the other thing, though, is that EMP itself. Like, maybe there's an EMP thing in weapon spell hit that I can take a look at. EMP shockwave hit. Because it needs to deal damage to energy and shields rather than wiping them and setting them to 0. Oh, that's pretty good. Am I still... Let me check on my side. Seems fine on YouTube. I'm going to check on Twitch now. Oh, this also seems fine. Just made you refresh? Okay. So it looks like current unit energy and shields are just set to 0. And in here, I can probably change this to like... I think it will be it will require multiplication there. Oh, what's up, Martos? How you doing, dude? Obviously, if it still seems to wipe all counts, then obviously it didn't work. But I'm also not sure about the AOE thing. Like well, I don't know. Hold on. I didn't pay much attention here. So if it drops to 200. Yeah, drop to 0. Okay, so if we do high, right, and then we spawn Wraith. Oh, well, he was too close, so he lost. That was pretty good. Archon, there we go. Spawn 4/4. Alright, so maybe I don't need to multiply by 256 after all for either of them. I thought for sure I would have to for one of them, but I guess not. Oh yeah, we were trying to figure out a solution that would work for you. So there was like Junkyard Dog or there was Disabling Unit State. I guess Junkyard Dog is probably better for since it doesn't cloak the unit as far as I understand. That's weird. It still seems to be happening. Maybe an update unit state. There's like some other thing here. Oh yeah, it's not even running properly because it's still using the old shit. So this is where I'll find out if I need to multiply by 256 or not. That makes sense. It's using a completely different function. It should work on locations. Sometimes the locations have to be big enough, but power-ups are pretty small. Okay, so for energy, I definitely need to multiply by 256. I'm going to assume I have to for shields as well. Well, it's hard to know when I'm not really taking into effect. I also saw one of the other dropships get hit with it, or the science vessel be brought down to 200. So I don't know what the fuck that means. That seems really odd. Yeah, that would also help in theory, is just setting it so that it doesn't work. Okay, now we're dropped by 100. But the second one drops to 2? I don't understand why. So is there like another case where maybe I need to search for like unit energy equals 0? And search for this happening in... Wow, I guess so. How many times was this essentially inlined? All right, we'll try that. 3rd time's the charm. Man, what a messy code base. I don't want to ever know. It's taking its sweet fucking time now, probably because it's a Windows piece of software, probably. Yeah, there's an order ID trick or a order ID check that tries to find out if the all right, that seems to have worked. They all seem to work. I'll test with shields real quick. But yeah, there's a check that basically says like if the unit has the power up flag and its order is pickup, then it can be picked up. That's to stop units from picking it up when it's already been picked up, basically. As far as I understand. It could also just be that Blizzard is dumb. That is also another option. See? Okay, okay. I like what I see here. All right. It's working, boys. We did it. We implemented the new EMP stuff that was supposed to be there for a long fucking time. Implement EMP shockwave. Damage factors or threshold to energy shields. And second hit after 4 seconds. Nice. Very, very nice. I do feel like we should be able to figure something out for restoration, even if it's something really dumb like inlining stuff. So if I go to weapon spell hit and I find restoration, there's a function called restoration hit or restore hit. And like in theory, I should be able to Is there a defensive matrix? So matrix is handled some other area? Let me search. Oh, wow. That sounds like a really dumb situation to find yourself in. Like you just change one value in 116.1 and it's permanent, so pickable object just means that it can be picked up. If you turn that off, it probably also circumvents the issue. Surely I'll find some code somewhere that happens when defensive matrix hits. This is for AI spellcasting. Yeah, this is for AI spellcasting as well. Wow. We actually have nothing. Can't believe search is so fucking slow, honestly. I gotta get rid of some debug messages, but yeah, I guess there has been a bit more of a push to improve the tools that people have for that sort of thing. It's really not my cup of tea, though. I don't understand why people go so heavily for it. So I guess in game hooks I can just find the value here. So if unit defensive matrix timer. So we're gonna try this, and this is like obviously a real. Oh, yeah. This is obviously like a super specific fucking workaround, but. It looks like it was 168. That's what I saw. So we're going to say 168. So I'm actually going to get rid of that entirely. And rather than worry about that, I'm going to go find weapons spell hit again. And we are going to find that restore hit. What is this anyway? So we're going to include weapons spell hit, which is the file path hooks weapons. And we're doing it in... Well, actually, I mean, I don't know why we would need to do it there, now that I think about it. I guess the reason for it would be because of update unit state being in like a very specific case, so... Because there is no defensive matrix hit, so what we would need to do is... well, the other thing is I don't even know if we can call restore hit itself. Because it requires a bullet, apparently. So I might just have to... as sickening as this is going to be... Well, it's not really a absolute requirement, right? But we can do something like... We can cut this and we can say... SCBW restore... Funk unit. Oh, I guess it would be target. And then we can go into API. Down at the bottom here. Would restore funk C unit. Oh, wait. 1107. Okay. So now we got restore funk. Funk. Okay. I'm not sure why I wouldn't be showing up here. Hey, thanks. Thanks for popping in. Good luck with your stuff. Yeah, I am still in SCBW. I wonder why it's not working. Oh, probably because I need to define it somewhere in API.h. All right, we'll see if this works out the way that I think it does. We can only hope that it works out the way that I think it will. Hope it will. Let's do it. Visually, it appears to have created the overlay. So now the test is radiate this man. Okay. What's up, Balethal? So we know it clears a radiate. I guess we should hit a smash somebody. All right, cool. It looks like it actually does clear energy decay properly, which is nice. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else might need to be done here, but it so far anyway, it seems like things are implemented correctly. Like we can do some broodlinging and some parasiting. Oh, ensnare does not appear to be working actually. Oh wait, no, we removed ensnare from that, but we made it happen on that. That's obviously working. And then we have parasite, which is working. And what else was even fixed by this? So we got rid of ensnare. Oh, plague was another one. Parasite, blind. Oh, blind is apparently gotten rid of. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it clears it. What else? We can test plague in a sec. We can test maelstrom. Oh, I forgot it does that. Oh, fuck. I guess another fucking caster. When you accidentally eradicate half of your men testing something. Alright, cool. So that's there. Plague is next. And I think that's... oh yeah, lockdown. There's not really a way for me to test that, though, with that lobotomy mine. On, like, an enemy unit or something. What a useless man. So lobotomy mine slow is not cleared. But I assume a lobotomy mine like 511. All right. This is my way to test this now. Okay. Yeah. So lockdown is being cleared correctly. Okay. That's working too. Okay. So we know. Oh yeah, acid spores. I should have checked for sure, but it seems like it's firing anyway. So we have to remove energy decay. We're gonna have to remove lobotomy mines slow. I'm not sure about that one. Govzaleth is like a unit I probably wouldn't be implementing in Hydra anyway, but it would basically be a tier 3 worker if there were such a thing. There's obviously tier 2 workers planned, and that's what the Maktaleth is. But yeah. They wouldn't make advanced. I don't think they would make like advanced stuff. It would be like increased production speed or, well, basically, Terran advanced workers would increase production speed, right? So like they would build and repair faster. The Zerg one would be able to like it would lose like a fourth of its health, for example, or something like that. Maybe it would lose half of its health, the tier 2, and the tier 3 would lose a third or something. But it would lose a portion of its HP when building. And if it lost enough HP to actually die, it would be consumed like a drone is normally. It's just that obviously if you cancel it, you wouldn't get it back. I guess if you canceled the one that actually had the Maktalith use the last of its life, that would give you the Maktalith back, or maybe it would give you a drone back or something. But it wouldn't give you like the other regular ones wouldn't give you a drone back when you cancel. But that would be like how I would augment it for Zerg. And then for Protoss, the advanced worker is the artisan, and it has a pylon field around it in theory. So like that would be the way that it can drop some structures, fly away to do some scouting or whatever, and then walk back over to repower them. But basically, it can like drop a pylon, and then before the pylon even finishes, cannons or whatever. So you can imagine why that would be useful. I guess in a world, if there were a sufficient number of buildings, then maybe some things would be tier 2 or tier 3 worker only. But I don't really see a reason to restrict that. It's just like you would get better efficiency out of building them in like another context. Like maybe Maktaleth buildings would gestate faster and artisan warped structures would warp in faster to match the Terran thing. But maybe the Terrans are unique in the way that they can build stuff faster. I don't know. The other thing too is that like maybe Terrans can team build with their secondary workers instead of it just being a generic benefit. Maybe they team build, like they have a higher base repair rate than SCVs, but the Masons, which are the tier 2 Terran worker, maybe those can team build and the default SCVs can't. Like that could be something that you could also use. Yeah. I mean, for sure, like that's something to keep in mind as like a balancing factor for information overload and like just players being overwhelmed. So like if you're in a situation like you're talking about where you have like 3, 4, 5 command cards of buildings, that would obviously require a lot of like fucking around. Basically, it would require a lot of work in that sense. So. Yeah, true. That's pretty easy to like. I was thinking of separating defensive stuff out as well. Like I was thinking of doing that for Terrans specifically. So you'd have basic, advanced, and defensive because the defensive structures are like missile turret, bunker, ion cannon, and like one other or something. But there's enough that it would be somewhat sizable. I've decided against it for now, but I might still go back to it if the ion cannon and some other shit gets implemented. We shall see, of course. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good. Implemented a couple of things here. I can get rid of the D matrix shit. I can look for implementing the D web, the disruption web changes to affect air units as well. I don't know how much of if there's any hooks at all for D web. If there are no hooks, I probably won't fuck around with it today, and I'll just look for something else. But right now I got to use the bathroom, so I shall BRB. And when I come back, we'll be investigating D web, and I've got a couple of other things that I've got to look at, like maybe I can look at into some more recall stuff. I have to figure out what exactly is left to implement on the recall. It looks like the channel time needs to be higher, but I actually don't know if that's like, I guess real quick before I go, I can check like recall field. I don't know if it waits until the iScript is over, in which case I could in theory just like copy and paste this. And maybe that would help. I don't really know what I would be looking for here. So it's kind of goofy to think that would be all you would need, but maybe it's based on when the effect ends, like so we're going to see what's up with that. I'm assuming it's not the case, but yeah, okay. It's not quite the case. So it is hard coded with a timer in game. So I'll have to figure that out. That's also not a smooth loop. It goes 10-4. Okay. So I can fix that. But then I will take a look at figuring out where the timer is. But anyway, for now, and then obviously like gotta lock out the arbiter from receiving new orders. I believe that is something that there's like a flag that you can apply, like some sort of flag for making it no longer able to receive orders. Should be relatively simple to do. So I'll be right back anyway, and then we'll look into that shit. What's poppin'? I'm back. Check me out. Inspired you to get deeper into trying to make each tier more individually defined. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was curious about what your thoughts were on tiers in general. I feel like anybody who's like somewhat, even in a like, regardless of like how many caveats you put on it, if you even partially subscribe to the Meskian way of thinking when it comes to tiers and like tech tree exploration and long game times being facilitated, even if they're not mandatory, it's like, okay, well, if the game does go for 2 hours, I should still be able to make some decisions to tech up or like, balance that shit out. And I think that is an interesting approach, one that I don't see in a lot of RTS games. Like if the game, it's almost like they get really worried. The developers are like, oh, if we have all of these options, then I mean, obviously there's the player info issue where you're overloading information. But there's also the problem of like we're putting all this work into stuff that maybe doesn't get seen like 90% of the time because so many games end before it. Right? So like maybe they feel like almost it's too much work for the game, but I think it really does add a lot. Even in games where it doesn't actually get used, the fact that somebody could threaten to use it, like it's an option in the back of your head that your opponent could be going for like tier 5 or something, or that you could go for tier 5 and you're like postulating when that should be good and you're posturing on the map like I could go there, I could, I've got 6 expansions, I could go for tier 5, the fact that you can actually mess around with that idea is pretty cool, I think. So just the option being there is really neat. And I feel like when you consider that, the logical extension of that line of thinking is like making each tier impactful, which requires it to be defined and separate in some way from the previous tier and from the tier that comes, after it as well, that succeeds it. I'm still a relative newcomer to the idea of really large tech trees in terms of how I've actually tried to explore them in my own work. Because while for a long time I thought about the tiers themselves as being useful, or like I would like them to be bigger, I would like to have hundreds of units, maybe even 100, like triple digits per race or something crazy like that. Like I've thought about that. And I've thought like that would be really cool. But the first time I ever tried to make anything similar to that level of scale was obviously HYDRA, like most recently, the HYDRA game state. Frigates are basically battle cruisers for your project. It's definitely something you felt as a real threat, and those are tier 4. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing is if you're able to get into a position where like another player might threaten for something like that's really exciting because now you're dealing with a situation where it just totally changes the way that things are explored, I think. So it's really, really useful if you can make it happen. All right, let's take a look for disruption web here. How do I see my folders? I think I accidentally closed my shit. Oh no, maybe I just minimized it? Yeah, here we go. I'm assuming this is in like AI spells, yeah. So if I search for disruption. So this is for the unit. It's got nothing to do with what we're actually using. Thing is, I need to figure out if a unit is underneath disruption web, so it's a little bit different than all this stuff. Apparently, unit status cannot attack is somehow linked to this. Okay. Okay. Zerg are a bit different in that the lair and hive are available immediately to unlock tier 2 and tier 3. I think there's room. I mean, I probably wouldn't do this for Zerg myself. I would probably reserve this kind of mechanic for a new race or a new faction. But I do think there's room for something where I guess it would be kind of like the Protoss in Hydra, where you progress down a tech branch on an individual basis, but it would be split up even further and like even more defined. Where the vision that I have for Protoss is I have a vision where there is a link between the branches that you can benefit from at some point. Like, I'm not sure if it'll ever be in Brood War Hydra. Like, it might have to be in the new engine Hydra. But it could be something to the effect of, like, trying to think about what to draw this a comparison to. But so it could be like the Pariah, which is a new unit from the Robotics Authority, which is the tier 2 robotics facility, like a tier up in terms of production structures for the robotics branch. Like that, maybe that requires a tier 3 Templar structure, as well as it being trained from, like, there's a bit of interdependence there where it's like, if I want to benefit the most from, like, I want to get the most out of this branch, I also need to go deep in another branch, you know, at least a tier 3 or something. And then you'd have like really powerful units that were like breakpoints along the way. So you could go deeper in the robotics branch and ignore that option. But if you combine two branches, you can become stronger for it in a way and have that like linkage between stuff. So like Star Sovereign would require robotics branch as well as Stargate branch, like Stellar branch. And something like Terminus would require Templar branch and robotics branch. And then maybe there'd be like some air unit from the Templar that would require Stellar or something. Maybe Arbiters would be in that area, honestly. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, there could be a lot there that you know, Arbiters could be that, and Architects could be the Stellar and Robotics link. Arbiters could be Templar and Stellar link, and Pariahs would be a Robotics and Templar link. Something like that could be really interesting. So yeah, like there's ways to link between the two trees, basically. Right. Terrans are much more straightforward in Hydra because you get all of tier 2 with the NG Bay, all of tier 3 with the science facility. And in order to specialize, you're really just getting different add-ons. So I allow a lot of flexibility for Terrans. And the other thing that I'm not sure we'll ever see, but I wouldn't be like opposed to it, is actually like constructing your layout so that you could build add-ons, but then lift off and like move to the side and like build another add-on and then actually be able to swap between them if you wanted to. Like, I don't think it would really ever happen in theory anyway, but like you could imagine a world where maybe you don't want to drop like another factory in terms of cost, but you want to pivot to Salvo Yard or something. It's interesting that you went for an approach that still mandates bio in all cases. I don't really have anything against that per se. I think it's fine to like basically it's like you're mandating a certain kind of unit or certain like initial investment of something. I don't mind it, but I also think that it's kind of cool that in HYDRA you can go like fast gas into Robo. In most cases, you need a gateway for Zealot or a barracks for Marine anyway. But the fact that you could do it, I feel like is kind of neat. Like Zerg definitely have the most flexibility in that they could go Hydra Den or Spire because those are, well, Hydra Den is something they could do if they went fast gas, if they went like 6 gas or something, or 7 or 8 gas. Like I just think you get a lot more potential for team games, like in team games for different strategies. Like you can go a greedy build if you're behind your allies or something that involves rushing Starport or something, and going like straight into tier 2 and then tier 3, really fast off of like 2 bases or something. Like if your opponents can buy or your allies can buy you time, that could be a really cool and punishing time delay or whatever. So or like timing attack or timing build or something. I don't know. There could be something there. Yeah, I've had to reorganize the tech trees, especially for Terrans, so many times now. I still think I'm not quite done reorganizing all of the tech trees. But we'll figure it out. So there's some code in here for teleporting units, but I'm not sure if this is related. Include recall spell in mind control spell. Pretty epic. Apparently there's a recall spell CPP file, so maybe it's in here actually. I should actually look at my Terran tech tree real quick just to see, because I probably did forget to finish moving some shit around, but like right now I've got command center, supply depot, refinery, barracks, factory, starport, missile turret, bunker, and then NG Bay, armory, nanite assembly, science facility, treasury, quantum institute. Now the only thing is I'm pretty sure the nanite assembly needs it needs a quantum institute, doesn't it? Or does it only need a... No, it needs a science facility. So I'm not really crazy about it being over there, but I guess it's fine. The other thing too is I don't think you don't need an armory. You don't need anything for the armory now that I think about it. So it could be armory, NG Bay. I don't really like that either. It could be engineering bay, treasury, armory, so that from the right side to the left you get stuff that's automatically unlocked. But even then, that doesn't make any sense because the treasury requires the NG bay. It's still a fucking mess. I like the fact that it's a straight shot over here for stuff like that, but I get super pedantic about stupid shit like this. I don't know. It requires command center, dude. Easy. Starport's being 150 gas might be a bit much, though. Well, yeah, if you're gonna go through, like, unfortunately, if your standard for whether or not you can do something is have I ever done it with the armory, I've literally done everything. I made the armory available by command center, and that would unlock factory and starport. I made it so that the armory was required a factory, but unlocked like tier one. I think it was machine shop. And then I made it so that, obviously, most recently, the armory is just upgrades, completely disconnected from the factory, and the factory requires a command center. That's what I've been doing lately. So, yeah, there's like every single thing, permutation you could pretty much think of. Just saying, man. Don't have many options there. Yeah, the only defense right now in the game that requires anything, I think technically they all require the town hall, like hatchery or command center or nexus. But the only other defensive structure that requires something is the barracks. I mean, the bunker that requires the barracks. That's just so that you can't go mech and then say, "Hey, my ally's going Hydra. I'll build bunkers." You know. So honestly, you know what I think is, I actually think maybe 4 starting workers, but like 200 starting minerals could be cool, or 150 or something. Just playing around with like a balance of starting workers and starting money. Um, like for all of the flack that Warcraft 3 rightfully gets for being a non-RTS and being really stupid, one of the interesting things that could have happened, obviously it didn't because the game was bad, but it could have it could have facilitated a lot of interesting openers by giving players so much starting gold and wood or gold and lumber. Because like if you compare that to like starting out with 500 minerals and 300 gas or something in StarCraft, your openers could change really radically in that. Even in vanilla, forget about like HYDRA or something else. Yeah, that's obviously a little overkill. But I think that it makes sense in theory to do something like, I've got a, like, here's a situation. I have 200 starting minerals and I'm Zerg with 4 workers. So I get my first drone and then I go for a fast expand, or my first 2 drones I go for 6 hatch, right? Because like off of that, I've spent 100 minerals, but I've probably mined 175, which would be enough to get you to 275, which is what a hatchery is in Hydra. Like shit like that could work, you know? So there's a bunch of options there. And I think that fast gas, like literally 4 gas or 6 gas or something, that could be an option. I mean, it's it would really only be an option for Protoss because the SCV would be locked up doing it, so you'd have less mineral income, and Zerg would lose a drone, which would be disastrous as well. So it would really only be a Protoss thing, which is an immediate imbalance that I could see happening. But you could also like address that by increasing the mineral cost of the assimilator, honestly. Or maybe that costs 150 instead of 100. And so then you only have 50 minerals and like I don't know. Then it's like it's probably not worth it because you don't have enough workers to get gas that quickly or something. But anyway, there's like all sorts of different options that you could come up with based on that. So I think there's an option for something like that. Anyway, I also think there's even an option for like a game mode where I don't even know if this would be official or not, but presumably it would be like something that you could do in customs where you would have a pre-building phase. Now there are some RTS games that have already done this. I think maybe that Grey Goo game did this. I know that that really ugly 3D RTS that Rimtech made me play, fucking Mental Fatigue. That game had pre-building as well. And basically what it was you've got a certain amount of starting resources, and before the game begins, it plays at an accelerated state where you can't leave a certain area around your starting location, but you have your starting money and everything builds super fast. And you basically built like spending your starting money in a way that you want to spend it. This is the ideal situation for something like campaign scenarios where you want to allow the player to choose where their structures are placed and what structures are placed and in what quantities they have units. And they've got like a specific amount of money, and maybe you can influence the starting bank based on objectives completed or the certain gameplay things from the previous mission or something. Like there's all sorts of there's all sorts of interesting approaches you could take to that approach, and then that would level the playing field as well. Like, you know, I don't know how heavily I would want to do that in a multiplayer sense, but at least for campaigns, that would be something that I would think about doing. I'm not even sure if I would really set it up as pre-building though. It would probably just be a briefing thing, you know, like a function of the ready room would be watch briefing and then like select like team orientation where you can like pick an AI ally of a different character to join you or something, and then there would be pick your spot and like set up your base, and that would just be like a more almost like a browser window style thing where you'd like or it would basically be like if you're in game and you're like clicking on the buttons to place the structure, but it just happens immediately. And then you can also click on the structure and cancel it, hit escape if you want to cancel it or whatever, and then it'll reset. But then you finalize your shit and you're done. So like that would be an obvious thing. And then there for as well, if you just wanted to jump in, you could have like the use recommended option where it would auto spend for you. So yeah, there's tons of options is what I'm getting at here. Oh no! I hit the 3! There you go, I fixed it. No more 3s. I'm gonna try to implement the, Gonna try to implement the Pennant, or at least get the concept for it taken care of. Yeah, Egyptian pylon. That's basically what this is. Now I've got a fucking force end Notepad++ because this is a very epic program. Can only open this file if I click and drag when it's already maximized. Obelisk. Yeah, the way you balance that out is with money, though, so that you have to have like really make the most of like this one unit or something, and that opens up a lot of counterplay. Like if they cost a lot or whatever, you know. At least that would be one angle of attack if you were going to try to fix that up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What the fuck? So we have 781 divided by 11. Not sure if that will actually work out, but you know, gotta shoot your shot and all that. Dude, I still can't believe how many different colors they have in these fucking team color things. What's wrong with these people? Classic. Just gonna have to redo this. At least it's easy to isolate. Holy moly. And third time's the charm. Thinking in what way exactly? What kind of concessions do you see yourself making when you're talking about this sort of thing? Or what would be the concession in this example? Yeah, there's definitely going to be some meat spin over here, but hopefully I can fix it up without too much difficulty. So we're looking at do a quick try shadow here. Dude, this is like an impossible task, I feel like. Okay. Maybe we figured it out. At least some junk placeholder one. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think I'm okay with bio or gateway or spawning pool being the go-to strats for most cases as a safe opener, because I still get the luxury of going into starport or factory being a meaningful distinction, or robo versus stellar, or gateway like HYDRA versus spire. After the fact, you still have a meaningful distinction after that. And then in team games, you can go whatever fucking build you want if you're able to like coordinate well enough. So I think there's a lot to say for what is actually able to be done in that kind of context. So yeah, there's a huge difference in like, well, I say huge, but I guess it's more on a zoomed in level. Like on a macro level, maybe it's not that different. But I feel like there's a very big distinction between balancing for 1v1 and balancing for team games, or balancing for large scale versus small scale. Yeah, I think when it comes to production structures and what kind of units they can build, what I'm probably going to have is like, I think I've talked about this before. It's like every other tier that you go up, you get a new production structure that can build, like basically the barracks can build tier 1 and tier 2, right? In terms of units. And then you get another barracks that can build tier 3 and tier 4. And maybe it could also build tier 2 or something. So you can build like 3 tier, the tier before, the tier it's at, and the tier above. But the higher tier structures you have, the faster it builds the lower tier stuff, right? Or like the faster it builds in general, I guess we could say. And so at the end of the day, like your tier 10 production or tier 9 production structure can build tier 7 units faster than the tier 7 production structure can, or sorry, tier 8, right? And then tier 9, and then tier 10. And so like tier 7 is faster or whatever. So Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like the fraud knights are really useful for having somewhat of a decent scale. I would still call it that like medium scale, just because you can't go over like 2K units in Brood War, unfortunately, and the map sizes are also limiting. But yeah, no, I think when you test for like that sort of environment, you'll probably feel pretty good about that. If I had to guess. I think I've already done the data rewrite for the Pennant. Yeah, it's active. Staring me right in the face. Oh yeah, I have to make the damage overlay. Don't know how I managed to forget about that one. Amazing, the frames aren't aligned. It does look pretty ugly as well, unfortunately. I think I'll probably just have it stick with like a single frame rather than animate, but the fact that it's also jostling up and down is pretty incredible. Okay, well. Oh yeah, well, the other thing too is that of course the iScript is not correct. It should only be going to 11. Pretty amazing. Let's try that again. Should be a smoother animation now. Except that's not really any different, TBH. There should be a very seamless transition here. All right, so we have good old frame numero uno. And then the next two are fine. This one's got to go down. That's another 2 to skip. Bonk. All right, that should fix that. Like how I hit delete and somehow I interpreted that as me wanting to save. Good one, IMO. What even is software anyway? Let me just make sure if I go back over here, 507 is the ISID and the Pennant is using that. Spread image ID 1002 for spread ID 532 for flingy ID 212. I'm not sure why the iScript would have been messed up there, but it could have just been me being distracted by the very annoying oscillating fucking animation. So let's try that again. Somehow the shadow is still messed up. I don't quite get that one. And the iScript is also still messed up despite the graphic being very obviously different. Let's go ahead and test the damage overlay real quick. I guess we'll probably only be able to fit one of them over here, to be honest. But anyway, the graphic is there, and that's sort of what matters. And close that for now. Oh, it's because the local is what still has that, and I changed the is working. That would be why. Still doesn't really explain the shadow being fucked up. Not quite sure how that's possible. Yeah, that's the file that's been updated too, so it's not like I typoed it or something. Why does the shadow get fucked up like that? It's so weird. It is actually acting as if the Pennant itself is still oscillating up and down. Which is really weird. It's like maybe if I pop it open and I figure out the dimensions of the graphic and then do the same, give it the same treatment that I gave the other one. So we're looking at 1846 divided by 11. What the fuck? Okay, so either... Okay, that was just me being stupid, apparently. 171. I'm really confused then, because... Like, unless it's the ones that have the shit like this where it's a little bit aliased. I don't know. That looks pretty fucked up to me, though. Guess we'll be shooting in the dark here. No. That definitely didn't help. That doesn't help either. Well, what the fuck then, dude? I don't understand. It's like it just got morphed because of a certain, like, transform or something. I don't know. I have an idea. And it's essentially to do this. Where I just copy the base of the shadow. And replace the base of it in a few places. And maybe that will fix it. Pretty stupid workaround, but something is clearly up with this. that I clearly do not understand properly. Try it again. Well, now the crystal up top is gyrating in an insane way. So it really didn't fix the problem, unfortunately. I think the solution here, unfortunately, is just to say fuck it. So the next thing we need to do is we need to offset it by like probably 32 pixels or something. Sounds pretty goofy, I know. All right. Let's see what misery we have created. So that's actually pretty good. I don't know why the shadow is so far up. Obviously the graphics hitbox is messed up. I'm not really sure what's up with that. Looks like we need a minus 18 then. That's really weird. I mean, I guess I could just minus 36 the shadow as well, but I'd rather not. Yeah, seems fine. All right, let's take a look here. I have to edit the damage overlay now. Oh, you know what? No, I think I did edit the Pennant's, the damage overlay to be the right one, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure there. So now over in ARR, if I go into units and I find the Pennant and I remind myself what the unit ID is, it's 221. And now I jump into graphics, placement box. So apparently it is 64 by 64, so I don't know if maybe the issue is in the map. And the Pennant itself is just placed at a weird angle. Yeah, it is. Okay. So now if we... It probably didn't have the hitbox when I was initially doing that or something. So... Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense to me. Okay, so now we need to jump into the selection circle data for the Pennant. And we'll say... Try 3. Because 3... should be fine. Stage PBR can go up, even though its health is obviously going to go down here. Okay. Now I have to go find the stuff related to the Ireleth. In terms of the aura for boosting regeneration. Dogs. of varying sizes, of diminutive stature. Okay. Okay, seems to be working. Pretty good there. Go ahead and close that. So Pennant is reworked and functional. I should also check to make sure that the DAT requirements are accurate for that unit, though, because I may have changed them, and I should check the strings and all that shit. Oh, there's not even a button for it as of right now. So presumably that means there's no string either. Okay, close that, save that. All right. Now we actually try to build the pennant, assuming we can. Weird that an image is offset, but whatever. Seems to work. All right, that's pretty good. Knocked off. I think the three things. I think again we knocked off three things off the list. That's been a pattern lately. So we did defensive matrix. We did radiation shockwave changes, and we did a little bit of bunker testing as well, but there wasn't really much in there as far as that's concerned. And yeah, we did some stuff, man. It was pretty cool. Pretty good shit. Always nice to see that. Obviously, we implemented the pennant. That was the third one. In case you couldn't follow. In case you weren't paying attention. In case you lost your train of thought like I did. So yeah, that'll do it for today's stream. It was very productive despite only being 3 hours. You see how funny how that works. Funny how that number works. I gotta get some more water in me because I am fucking parched. My voice has been like bordering on being lost, I feel like. I mean, I haven't felt any discomfort, but I've noticed that I'm a little bit raspier than normal. So, and I haven't really lowered my water intake or anything, so I'm not really sure what that means, but might be time for some CBD or something. I don't know. Anyway, I gotta bail. It's always nice talking tech trees with you, Loler. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out for this evening stream. I don't know when the next evening mod stream will be. I think it'll be Saturday. Friday, I should be able to get on in the morning. So if you're around Saturday, after Fraud Night, there will be a lovely mod stream where I attempt to do 3 things again. So come on by and 3 me, dude. For everybody else, also, thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you guys next time, tomorrow morning, probably. So, bye. Hell yeah, brother!